Welcome to week 4. Let's get started. This is the last week of our module 1, and this week we are working on our first paper, which is actually an outline. It's key to your success for this assignment in week 4 that you do your reading. As you can see, there is a lesson in here on writing arguments. There's chapter 11 in your textbook. There's a handout on the Toolman model. There's also a web document on critical thinking and annotation. And then there's a little help with writing a research question. And that's for your prospectus journal that you're working on. More on that later. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that this lesson that I created for you is very important. So you want to make sure that you click on it and open it up so you can read it. Let's go ahead and go over to this lesson. So when you click on the lesson, you'll see that there is some reading. I've added a few comics in there to see if you could understand what's so funny about them. But you work your way through this lesson. It talks about writing arguments. It'll talk about what a position paper is and what a proposal paper is, and basically how you would go about writing one of those two types of essays. And then, of course, there's a third page with a wrap-up. So you want to make sure you make your way through that information. Then you want to come back and read the web document that's available here and another handout on the Toolman model. It's actually a web page talking about the Toolman model. Now, the key thing here is that we're about to begin the process of writing a research paper, and you need to understand what argumentative writing is in order to do that. If you don't understand the basic formation of an argument, then or how arguments are analyzed, then you might have a hard time writing one. So that's why I have these documents here for you to read. So don't skip over this. Make sure you read them. Now, after you understand what argument is, what you'll discover is that you need to decide if you're going to write either a position paper or a proposal paper. And this assignment is going to ask that you complete the outline for that paper. Now, this is early on, so this outline will evolve into something completely different maybe by the time you actually write the paper. But we want to get started with you being comfortable with the format of the paper that you're going to write and being able to come up with enough ideas to be able to write a full 8 to 10 page paper. So what I want for you to do is first start with a context analysis. And what a context analysis is, this is a handout that will pop up here in a second. And what I want for you to do with this is, let's get it in here so you can see it. It's just a worksheet. Now, this is not the assignment. You're not going to turn this in at all. What I want for you to do is read through the questions and answer the questions in relationship or in regards to your paper. What this will do is it'll help you get a better understanding of what you are going to be writing about. Now, it says position papers at the top, but this works for both position and proposal papers. It's really all about knowing who your audience is, what the circumstances are, and what the purpose is for the paper that you might write. So after you've finished reading and writing the answers to those questions, now you can pull up the outline and decide which outline you want to write for this paper. Now, what I advise that you do is take a look at both. After you've learned what a position paper is, you'll have a better understanding, but here you'll see that the outline takes you through and it's filled out using just some bogus information. The proposal outline is actually kind of funny. I just made up some stuff. But this one is arguing that college students should be required to take computer classes. So what you're going to do is erase my information and fill in your own. But for this assignment, you need to make sure that all of the areas are completed, even the areas that I don't complete. For instance, as you scroll down, oops, that should be bolded, you'll see that I don't finish the conclusion. Well, you'll want to make sure that you type in some conclusion. You want to make sure that you have all the areas completed. Now, if you're doing a proposal paper, it'll look like this. So you pull up the proposal outline, and it looks similar, but of course the content that you add in is a little different. This time you are defining the problem. So each topic that you've chosen really lends itself to be either a position paper or a proposal paper. You just have to decide which one you like better. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't change your mind from a position to a proposal later in the semester. It just means that for this assignment, you have to choose one using your approved topic. If you decide later that you don't want to do a position paper after you've already done the outline, you can change the paper type, but you can't change the topic. Now, here are your guidelines for your outline. You want to make sure that your outline is 1 to 2 pages, which is about 500 minimum. And you want to make sure that it's typed and you're following MLA style guidelines where appropriate. Your outline must include complete sentences on the first two levels. So when we were looking at that outline, I had 2 to 3 levels on there. You want to make sure that you have 2 levels, complete sentences. If you go a third level and you don't want to use complete sentences, you can. The outline must follow the position or proposal paper format. As long as you're filling out the outline, you'll be fine there. And no sources are required, but if you do use them, you must cite them. Even in your outline, you have to cite them. And you'll do that just using the regular parenthetical notation format for MLA. Okay, and then you want to save your file with your name and then P1 for paper 1. So it's paper 1 even though it's an outline. So these handouts here will actually open up a Word document. Now what happens with the Word document is it makes it easy for you to edit the document. So let's got all this stuff popping up here. So here you can see I have the outline. Now what I can do is I can take out this information and then I can add in my own information as I am add in my own. I can't spell, but you get the point. So let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, so you can edit this, take out, and just make sure you fill in the blanks where you take out my words. So once you do that, you will be working on your outline. So the outline is going to be due by Sunday at midnight, and you submit it here where it says submit paper 1. Remember, it's just an outline, not a paper. And that's it. So the key going back is that you do your reading to learn what a position paper and a proposal paper are. Now, last week I also asked with assignment number 3 that you do a research prospectus number 2. Let's take a quick look at that. Now, I have extended that research prospectus part of that assignment number 3 because I want to make sure that you do a really good job. So after you've done your reading on what a position paper and a proposal paper are, that will help you understand better what I want for you to do with this research prospectus journal post number 2. Okay, so you have the rest of this week to complete this prospectus 2. And if you've already completed it and you did it on time, remember, it will not be considered late if you edit it. I just want it to be correct. So this is what you're going to do. For this research prospectus proposal, you're basically going to either define your issue, that's if you choose to write a position paper, or define the problem. That's if you decide to write a proposal paper. So once you've decided, then you'll come in, do your journal post, and you will define the issue or the problem. So a lot of what you are writing in this post might be similar to what you wrote for the first post. These two posts cannot be identical, but you can borrow some of the information from the first research prospectus. Now, this is what you're basically doing with this prospectus. Roman numeral 1 for the position paper is to define the issue. Well, these are the things that I need for you to write in your research prospectus 2. And if you're doing the proposal paper, which I don't have that pulled up right now, the same thing. You want to do Roman numeral 1, define the problem from the outline. So basically, you're not writing in an outline form, you're writing it in paragraph form for the research prospectus. You want to make sure that you have 300 words minimum for that. And just keep in mind that what you're writing will eventually be part of your paper. So you'll be able to just cut and paste your research prospectus and paste it into your paper. Okay, so that's what we're doing for this week. We are working on a research prospectus number 2. Some of you have already done that. And we are also working on our outline for our first paper. Now remember, everything we write in this class will be for the first paper. So we're starting with an outline. It's sort of like a map that will guide us. Now, last thing I want to talk about is the Module 1 quiz. That quiz won't open up until Friday. This first quiz, everyone, including hybrid students, online and hybrid students, will take the quiz at home. But you have to complete the quiz by Monday. So it'll open up this Friday, and then it will close by midnight on Monday. You need to make sure that you've completed that quiz during that time span. If you don't, it's a 0. And the consequences of that, because there are no makeup quizzes, is that you may be required to come in and take a final exam if you don't score 70% or better on the 5 quizzes that we have. Okay, so more on that later. Go ahead and get started with your reading and the lesson that is here for you on writing arguments and then writing your full outline.